champions of order.
Okay.
Order. So it's essentially you're planting a garden, cultivate a garden in your downtime. And you can do various types, although there's no like crunch attached to it, but it says like various examples of things you could grow that have different requirements. But it's a DN 4/8 nature extended test. Over the course of 1 week, you make 3 tests to cultivate your garden. You succeed, you
Wow.
learn about the applications of the plant or fungus that you have grown, and you harvest a usable quantity.
I found a short-term goal. I'll ping it to you.
Are you, Dreadbark, where are you doing that? Because there's the little gardens in the town that Anastasia, I'm assuming, kind of abandoned to go and live at Brynner's farm. Or there's like Brynner's farm itself as well.
Well, I missed what happened at Brynner's farm.
Of course.
But we don't have to go through that now because we'll have a recap in a minute anyway, I expect, or some kind of. It's like, yeah, I could take over the little garden, little patch, try and grow some something or other. The ether blossom is the thing that Sylvaneth like to grow. It is a strange flower that grows in the Weirding Vale in Gairan. The petals are translucent purple, drift and sway in the lightest breeze. And while holding it, you gain fly.
Sorry, what?
Additionally, as an action, you can touch the ether blossom to a solid surface. The surface becomes translucent and ethereal for 1 minute.
That's batshit.
That's pretty cool.
Love it. You just grew this, did you, in a garden?
Well, I do. I will successfully grow it if I pass the test.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that now then.
All right. Although I think it has a particular requirement. Ether blossoms only flower when they hear heartfelt music. So I'll have to sing to my flowers while I try and grow them.
We'll roll better if you do.
Yeah. Right, so 3 tests, and it's a 4/8 for nature. Wish me luck.
Never.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome. Always here to help.
There for me.
All right. We have 1 or 2 endeavours.
I'm still pretending I have 2 endeavours, but that's one of them is just the truth.
Yeah, you lot who need one for your kit.
Probably time for us to spend that on.
I'll let you know. I am erasing the 2 palm-sized nuggets of Vale-Lord I have, though. I'm trying to play it at least fair as I can.
Okay, well, I've got 0 successes on the first go, and I have 4 dice. So I need to get full house on both of the second 2 tests.
How many dice? What is your nature?
So I have 1 training,
I got
and
4 dice. Okay.
It's 3 mind.
You can do metal on these, each if they're once per week.
Oh, yeah, okay. So no, I think it's 3 over the course of a week.
Oh yeah, but it's fine. The metal's like you can do it like every battle round. So yeah.
Okay. Remind me what spending metal does.
You said you had training, right? So you'd be able to double your training. So you could probably
so roll an extra dice.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll roll 1 more for that original one. See if we get anywhere. Hey, there's 1 success.
Training pays off.
Okay, and then this is 5 for the second go. Oh, better.
5 out of 8.
5 out of 8. Come on, baby. Grow that flower. Aww.
7. Early had some
No.
focus in nature.
If only I did. Actually, I can spend my last XP on a focus in nature. It's just
Sounds
one
like
to
it
get
can
one
be, yeah.
focus, isn't it? Haha!
I mean, it makes sense that you gain focus in the thing you're trying so hard to do.
I think so. I've spent an entire week like frantically singing to these seedlings, trying to make the like purple leaves turn translucent. Ah, so I make it. I make it. By the skin of my teeth, I've grown one ether bloom.
Mm-hmm.
Huzzah!
No, he's dead.
Floats off into the sun.
So I'm gonna have it where the ether bloom is sort of planted inside the back of my head, and then when I want to use it, it sprouts out like Inspector Gadget, and I just. Ooh, ooh.
Is it a consumable or is it?
No. Well, I'm going to read the description again, but you can only use that ability where you touch it to a thing and then it goes see-through once per day. But the flying thing is just while you're holding it. So maybe
Okay.
while holding the Ether Blossom, you gain a fly brackets normal speed. Additionally, as an action, you can touch the Ether Blossom to a solid surface. Blah 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 blah.
You have to put away your greatsword every time.
Yeah, but you know, if you wanna fly up to some useful vantage point.
I'm fucking
Be useful.
nerd. Yeah. And as well, because you've got one soulfire left, somebody can do the endeavour to recover it, although I can't remember what it is.
Probably for the best.
Praying or something. Kazal is well, sorry, not Kazal. New Daryl is
Hello.
soulbound, so you should get 5 totes.
It's a shame, innit? 'Cause we would have got a nice point of Soulfire for the death, wouldn't we?
Yep.
I
should
have
have
been
said
It probably wouldn't have died.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah, thanks, Milo.
It was heroic and graphic.
What do you say,
Can
Laura?
some-
I should have set a goal to turn someone to gold. God damn it!
Still time.
I've already done it though.
Maybe do it, but not like so permanent that they die.
Can someone?
Find a way to get them back into normal.
Yeah, I guess.
Can
We'll
someone
just
give
do
me?
it. Go on, Mikey.
Sorry, a crash course on miracles. I feel like there's like no cost to get them. But
Oh god, there's pages on miracles.
The cost, there is a cost to buy them. They're like talents. Something cost 2 XP each to learn.
I think so.
I feel like that. Like, it sounds like it should be, but in my mind, I'm like, there's not that. I feel like there's some weird restrictions, not that.
I
But
feel like it's explained, if I remember rightly, on the miracle talent. Because it's the same as spellcasting. Some of the
Blessed.
away in the talents.
no, I guess
yeah,
I went to Blessed Scrivener. Probably
I
tell
seem
me.
to remember. Could be wrong, but I'm going to craft a weapon. I'm slightly torn between weapons. We've got ether blasters or an ether cannon.
Ether cannon.
Well, the ether cannon would probably have to replace my primary weapon.
Well, then
but
go
it's
for the other one.
a cannon.
Yes, but it's
you-
worth it.
Well, we're gonna do the ether blasters for now. These miniature firearms run directly into the ether rig, which means I can use them with hands free. Look, man.
Like the new dreadnought.
Oh,
Yeah,
I really like
a
it.
teeny weeny little dreadnought.
I
I imagine
really
they are
like it.
positioned in the location of a Redemptor Dreadnought's blasting weapons.
Oh,
nipple
nipple guns.
Okay.
So this is a 5/6 extended test. And I will, of course, use my metal.
Yeah, Mikey, it's 2 XP per miracle.
Yeah, because when you get the talent, it says choose a god that show you favor and choose one miracle, and then it doesn't mention you can just buff up miracles based on what blessed you are. Can you be blessed in more than one way?
I know you can have different schools, 3 schools, but I think you need to get the Blessed Talent again.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So I've totally missed something. Fire Slayers belong to a lodge, and I found a section on find a name for your lodge, so I came up with the name. But there are apparently lodges with actual buffs and benefits that I should have been doing. So I am 10 sessions into an adventure choosing my lodge for my Fire Slayer. So yes, good fun. Ooh, wait, this one has advantage of awareness around Skaven.
Blaster.
Yeah. And I'm going to be part of the Tangrim.
Did you say blaster to roll a dice that had nothing to do with the blaster?
I'm crafting ether blasters.
Oh, okay.
Holy
Gotcha.
shit. Sounds cool.
So that's 4 successes of the 6 required. You say I can use a metal for each test?
Should be able to, yeah. Unless you're doing these like in the same battle round.
It's one of those things that seems too good to be true. But I suppose with some of these crafting tests, one of these requires 9 successes. So what's that?
Yeah, and also, I don't think it's that common to have good training and focus in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, 2 and
Seemingly.
2. I had to invest quite a lot of points to be crafting, so I better make use.
How much is it to get a second bit of focus?
Might be on that
The chart I had there is good at letting you know.
Is it the same training in?
Chart? Oh, okay.
I think training and focus are the same. So skills.
Yeah.
Oh no, it says focus there.
They are the same.
There'll be 2 XP to go from 1 to 2.
I have crafted ether blasters successfully.
Ah!
Sold them on my rig.
You have a picture so we know what you've made.
Do they
No.
attach via
Sadly, there is not a picture. Actually, no, there might be a page with a few.
Could there be like
Express?
Manda blasters? That'd be cool.
You know what? They've not called it ether blasters here, but this is clearly what it is.
Some of the Steam dwarves have like Mandy Blaster guns, don't they? On their funny masks.
Yeah, that is something that you can have. I could choose to have it like that. Should I? In this one, they're like little arms. It's called weapon battery, but
very AdMech.
I like to think they're on the side of the head.
I love that the amber whiskey is also in that diagram.
Yeah, that's a
It's
lovely.
another combat upgrade.
Yeah, weirdly not hands-free. Very low tech.
Ether blasters will be useful because they will give me an option to shoot at something in a pinch when perhaps my allies are in range.
Are they close range?
They are.
That's cool.
Yeah, also good for me because I actually can't fire my cannon without hitting myself in said situation. Well, I guess you can't fire at all, but you can move without penalty. I forget now. Either way.
I think you can, but I think the enemy gets a plus step in defense. Something like that.
And yet still I'd be potentially killing myself.
Right, 2 Endeavours down. Daryl's character is pending. Sichuan Klaus, any Endeavours for you twos?
There are better Endeavours in the Champions Border, aren't there?
Yeah, I think I shared the Greywater ones as well at some point.
Oh lord. First hand?
I can even.
A hot dog, stuff it with some jack cheese. Wrap it with some pizza.
Saying Greywater.
Got cheesy blaster.
Greywater.
I have no words.
Guy looks like very Greywater. Greywater Endeavours as promised.
Greywater.
They just. Oh god, there's loads of them.
Greywater.
Oh god, there's loads of them. Why Greywater? Oh, because Greywater fastness, yeah.
Yeah. Can you pin them if you find them?
Yeah. Bing. Oh yeah, pin it.
Yeah.
in all the useful shit.
Yeah.
No. Goals to run between. Traverse a 10.
I found the Greywater Endeavours. Oh, you found them already.
No.
There's a cool one where you sort of like running the hands or something, where you try and like a challenge the people do. You have to run between all the big cannons before
Chase
they...
the hands, yeah. So
Yeah.
it seems cool, but I don't know how
Fun.
the results don't seem particularly.
You get prestige. Is athletics.
Ollie, I'm checking out the character sheet and it's behaving a little bit weirdly because for some reason it's not giving me my armor value and my accuracy, although I don't really need that. Figure this part out. But other than that, I mean, you can look at. I don't know if you've already looked at the sheet, but yeah, you could look at the sheet.
Oh, that's
and-
cool. Okay, I'm going to
Okay.
talk over Daryl while he's explaining what he's doing.
It's fine.
First of
I'll
all.
look at your sheet. You put your name in as well. The character sheet.
Oh yeah. I don't know why I didn't do that.
What
one
is your
second.
name?
That's none of your business now, is it?
That's a funny name.
Trust me, it's equally as long. How the hell do you calculate armor? It usually does this by itself.
So
Should just be your equipment.
The armor's rating.
It'd
So-
be what?
just let me know when I'm.
Um,
I'll keep mumbling otherwise.
Ollie, I'll just do some grey cap training.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mikey. I won't speak.
Well, I'll let Los go now.
That's it.
Nice. It's a bit cardinally, but there's a Preacher of Order endeavor, which basically allows you to spend a week at the House of the Great Alliance, praying and preach to make a chosen God of order, which would be Grimnir, Hobbs. Take to the streets, lead sermons, all that kind of shit, which is good. I think it fits in well with his thing of chanting and telling sagas. So that seems quite nice. And I get access to a new miracle, which is quite good because I'm getting lots of miracles actually, just until the next downtime. So we can like trying out a miracle, which would be quite nice for spending money on it. So I'm going to do that. Get the miracle of Grimnir. I've had my eye on for a while. Of searing heat.
There it is. Found it.
So I've used my training. I've used my endeavor to preach of the order of Grimnir to people, to temporarily learn the miracle searing heat, which allows me to melt metal objects and try and damage creatures in battle or outside, or melt objects and all kinds of stuff, which is pretty cool.
No, it's
You got the melting weapons miracle. Nice.
Searing heat, yeah. So call the metal object you touch. If you do it out of combat and in combat, you can grab non-magical metal weapons and melt them, or you can use extra metal to metal mettle to heat the metal and do damage as well. So it's quite cool.
I love that miracle. I remember reading that one when we were first discussing your character.
Yeah.
And thinking,
Yes, well, it was that of volcanoes in the first one. Right there, so I'll see how useful it is. So I will temporarily.
that'll definitely give you something to do when volcanoes are not an option.
Exactly, and now I've still got more. That's just a start. That's like experience. Right. Thank the grey water. Now, how do I make a note? This is temporary. That's quite important. To make. I also have my arm magmic tunneling. That sounds more just like fun than it's actually useful.
But you do.
All right. Kurt, that else? Any endeavors for you, sir? Oh, you're doing training with grey caps.
Yeah. Because it provides bonus to the medical and survival within grey water fastness. I've got 4 in mind, so that might be helpful if we need to use those.
Nice.
And also, get chummy with the grey caps. Might as well learn and explore the city for a bit.
Yeah,
Need
that's
it,
right.
get the
Make
legends.
friends with the cops.
Hell yeah.
All grey caps are bastards.
A gap.
Well, if it wasn't for them, this city would be overrun by bloody trees, so... Probably.
Rats as well.
Yeah, true.
But if it wasn't for you, it'd be overrun by bloodthirsty cultists. So.
Rough.
Right then. Everybody all XP'd
No.
and endeavoured up?
No, I've got some other fun stuff to talk about. So, because I didn't realise I should actually have chosen a proper lodge, I have now chosen the lodge. Cool.
Proper lodge?
Proper lodge. Let me just explain to you. Give me a few.
And you're a
rough
fantasy
basics.
mason.
What are you talking about?
A mason, like Freemasons, they have lodges.
Also, the fire slayers. Lost the damn page, haven't I? But yeah, so basically, it's I'm actually, and as has always been the case, there's retconning the character. I've always been part of. Let's go. Part of the.
Are you okay, Mikey?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
a
just
funny
scattering
name for a
fire.
lodge.
The Tangrim Lodge, who specialise in lightning oaths, but also gave me the talent of Sigmar's Judgment, which increases my melee and accuracy 1 step when the target of your attack is a demon or servant of chaos. And it also gives me access to miracles from Miracles Sigmar as well. It's quite nice because it says if you've got the talent Miracle,
Yes.
Blessing
Oh,
of
that's cool.
Grimnir, which I do have, you can have access to Miracles of Sigmar as well, which so it's tying quite nicely, and this is like quite cool.
Yeah, these are the ones who are from Azir, aren't they?
Yes, from Azir, exactly. Yeah,
That's cool.
so they have all these, and also quite that oathy, which is very much a character with Sichuan as well. So,
What sort of things will they bring to the party?
so it's, I'm going to choose one now. There's a Light of Sigmar, which just does some damage. There's a few buffs, but I've already got my runes do buffs, so I'm experimenting.
Yeah,
So
you're already pretty strong on the buff
pretty
front.
buffy. I'm going to shift one of my runes as well because I just don't use one. I'm going
I
to
love
let you
Buffy.
know. Buffy.
Have you seen that miracle where you can force somebody to make an oath, and if they break it, they take like a mortal wound?
Is that part of Sigmar? I'm just searching the doc.
I think it's a Grimnir because you're like.
Really?
You're
It sounds. I was going to say it sounded very.
You must
Is it
swear an
really?
oath to not, have a fag break and for the whole day, and if they do, then they just go. "Ah."
No, it's like couldn't make like a piggy promise with Ellis that I do most days.
What, does Ellis have a lot of fag breaks?
Yeah, exactly. These
Yeah, you gotta
5-year-olds.
wean him off him.
Yeah.
What'd you call me?
Whoa! Hold
Whoa.
up. I came.
You
Yeah,
heard.
back to me.
Okay,
What I said.
okay, I'm now an alchemist.
Oh shit!
Wow.
That's quick.
Am I
Yeah.
the only one who cannot see Alex?
What,
Um,
IRL or?
Wait, let me just reconnect.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
there
sort
you
of
are. Now I can see you.
putting
I still can't see
putting
Lawrie.
Warhammer models into a travel case right now, but
Yeah,
I'm still here.
My webcam's not working. Though.
Ah. Thought it was me.
Miracles of Sigmar.
Poor OP. Tries so hard
I know.
Got so far.
to get people to.
It didn't really matter, did it?
Whoa.
Wow.
I was just finishing the lyric.
I know. I think everyone knows
Yeah,
that
but
one.
That's quite cool.
I end up with.
Where are you
First take my
taking?
hands.
You're taking your guardsmen.
To my new house.
Of course.
I wish I was taking them to a game of Warhammer. That would be significantly less stressful and more
They're
enjoyable.
like, we're outside. Oh, back in the box.
Oh, could we be going to the wargaming club? No.
You'll
Turns
miss their
out-
whole time at the top of the meta.
Oh,
Every Thursday at the Manchester office, there's a Warhammer and Kill Team night. I've just discovered the other week.
Fucking sweet. How was that going on and you didn't know about it?
Well, I don't really go into the office ever.
Ah.
But yeah, there's all sorts of like board game clubs and stuff that do like there's like something on every night apparently. I think that's like the office where there's actual socializing occurs. So I'm gonna have to start going in. Playing.
There's quite a lot of socializing in our company, but it's almost all digital because most of the companies remote. You can't easily run a computer game studio that way, I guess. Oh, maybe you can. I don't know anything about running one of those.
Right then. Are we ready for chapter 3?
Yes.
So fuck it.
Just
Hell yeah.
realised I haven't changed my OBS overlay to have the new chapter title. Oh well.
Come on, Ollie.
Sort it out, mate.
You had an hour. You had an hour to.
I'm gonna see this.
Jesus, Ollie.
He was too busy despairing at you lot.
Should have done a little bit of prep.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just a little
Whoa.
bit of prep.
I should spend more
Careful now.
time doing that stuff, which instead of documents that no one's going to read.
Hey.
Well, I read it.
I read it.
Read it. So after a week or so of your downtime, you get a visit from an old friend. Your dwellings. A certain Captain Heinz.
Heinz.
Ah, Heinz.
So Mickelson.
I imagine Klaus, you opened the door. Ah, Heinz.
You're alive. Still. Bloody hell.
So over tea, Captain Heinz lets you know that he's been given a new task to do outside of the city. One, because the Ironworld Arsenal know him to be somewhat of a experienced traveller outside of the city and along the One Road, but also because he still hasn't made up for the fact that he lost a cogfort. But he has come to ask you for assistance with his task, which is to rebuild a bridge on the One Road which has collapsed. And he says he has a team together of engineers and builders and whatnot, but he does not have any protection apart from the weapons that they can sort of carry. And with the sort of the dimming and sort of the weird anomalies that are happening with the One Road and the troubles with the Sylvaneth, he would feel very obliged if you were to protect him and his men.
Captain Heinz.
Well, I feel honored that he's even suggesting us after what happened to his spider, big crawler mech thing.
Yeah.
The loss of your cogfort still haunts my dreams. I would be honored to support you in this endeavor.
I don't know. I think Dreadbark probably be fine with it. Over what river will this bridge be built?
I'm not even sure I know that.
Is it beyond the River Kwai?
Yeah, it's the river Quashquai.
Uruguay.
It's called the Holdfast Bridge. The only segment of the One Road that spans the wide sludge-filled river nicknamed Old Sorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think as far as Dreadbark's concerned, like the whole area outside Greywater Fastness is roundly fucked over already. So building a bridge over a river that's mainly polluted sludge already is not either here nor there. I imagine Dreadbark would nod along. Love to help you. You helped us.
It's getting a bit boring in behind these walls anyway. Need a bit of adventure.
Captain, if I might ask, this city has been beset by threats of every nature since we got here. What do you expect the flavor of the day will be threatening the building operations?
He says, well, as you probably know from our time reaching the city and travelling through the Goulmere, there's no shortage of the undead in the Goulmere. They say that when the necroquake happened, the dead within the marshes rose up, but were not able to go anywhere because of the protective lights on the one road. But these are acting strange and not fully protecting those who travelled the one road. I imagine we will have to deal with some form of undead, if not the Sylvaneth as well.
I guess Dreadbark's wooden eyebrows raise a little bit of that, but I don't think he'd interfere.
Oh, I hope we get to see some of those bastard bone reapers. They've got a score to settle with them.
Have you?
Aye.
Haven't heard that tale yet.
Yeah, sounds like a good one. For the campfire.
He said, Heinz says, and word has reached me, Dreadbark, of your diplomatic efforts in the Council of the Forge. They say you are a great speaker, great orator. So I hope that you'll be able to dissuade any Sylvaneth from attacking us, and we are just there to do some repairs.
Can claim no great oratory. I'm an agent more than a diplomat, but I will certainly do all I can to avoid any unpleasantness between your men. Sylvaneth do not pick fights for no reason. Don't break any natural laws or threaten any of them. Or there will be no such unpleasantness. The undead that I'm more worried about.
He says, and that's exactly the kind of speeches that will save our bacon outside of the city. Very well, I will meet you at the gatehouse in 2 days hence. And he takes his leave.
Hold up.
We cut to 2 days hence, sunrise. And you meet Captain Heinz and his crew outside of the city. A motley collection of smith priests, ghost hunters, and hungry masons. They possess tons of construction equipment as well as cumbersome mobile fortifications they plan to establish at the worksite. All of that is pulled by a small pack of hardy rattle traps, which are the mechanical beasts of burden. So yes, and as you begin to walk out of range of the city, silence as thick as the smog shrouding the Haish light hangs over the crumbling road. The repair crew joke and laugh to fill the quiet, but the bottomless hush swallows their voices and gives back only footfalls squelching in the mud, or the rare breeze straining against the still, humid air. Soon, even the most garrulous engineers stop talking, leaving the crew to march like a funeral procession past shattered tree stumps and oil-slick ponds of scum. So on this march, you can talk to the various crew if you wish. You can talk to Captain Heinz. You try and, I don't know, raise their spirits, keep people entertained.
Okay.
I think Dreadbark, you notice a few of the people who are with you give you a bit of a wide berth, shoot you some nasty looks you're pretty familiar with from certain types.
None of that is on to him.
Yeah.
I think sounds like a perfect opportunity for Sichuan to try out his new ditties.
I haven't got new. My ditties are all the same.
It sounded like.
They're always the same. Got to update them or something. But unless there are any, these people aren't very. They're not spellcasters. They're like grunty workers. They're engineers, right? So they're very smelly.
I mean, there's someone called a Smith Priest.
Okay.
I don't know
Well,
what they do.
I could saga his ear off with a saga of condemnation. He feels empowered in his magicalness, I think. But that's about it. Right, not much.
Roll me a 5-2 entertain test.
Full handling. Specialty. Lovely broccoli. There we go. There we are.
Don't
No,
forget you
open
can
up.
use metal on this.
Of course.
Actually, you can use metal on training and focus. You got 2, haven't you?
I've got 2 training, yeah.
Well, two metal.
2 metal, yes, exactly. Oh, good point. Yeah, well, I'll double my training. Double my focus. That's there we go. 45. There we go. That's all right.
666.
There you go. Didn't even need it.
So you do manage to lift the morale of the crew
Right.
somewhat. Those around you, even those who are not magical, are sort of welcome the distraction.
Well, they'll have heard of all my preaching and chanting in the Greywater fastness, my recent endeavour, so they'll already be pretty impressed. So that sounds right to me.
That is true. Anyone else?
Yeah. I'm gonna go. Where is Heinz at the moment?
He's probably walking pretty close to the front, I'd say.
I'll go find him. Just go. Good day. How's it going, Heinz? How's the morale of the crew? The current mission.
He glances behind him. Says, "To be honest with you, Klaus, they would definitely prefer to be within the city walls than outside. They have heard what happened, and they all heard the Sylvaneth threatening everybody in the city. But these are the workers who need work to live, need work to buy food. So it was either this or starve."
Just remind them that Sigmar's gonna have their back, right? Sigmar will guide their way. Kind of thing. You'll have our help the entire way.
That's good. That's good to hear. I think after seeing you in action before, I feel as though we will be able to do this job and quickly get it over and done with.
We didn't see the bit where I was like trying to tell people to go and then running away. If that didn't happen.
It's the royal you.
I was laying down suppressive fire, then running away.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll just chill with Heinz.
Like you'd like to have a chat to the engineering folk. Maybe just not so much inspect, but just talk about their plans and offer some tips and encouragement that fine if it is.
Yeah, I mean, it all seems pretty standard stuff to you. I guess your experience in
not quite the same.
building, yeah, you're not quite the same, but
You he certainly fancies himself an adept of all craft work, whether or not he is.
It's probably not a
Originally-
very complicated thing to design. So you're like, oh yeah, you've definitely got all the bits you need, and you got probably the fortifications are a bit primitive, you know, but it is like a work site. It's like a proper military fortification.
He'd certainly like to compliment them on their work and from one esteemed engineer to another. I think this endeavor is going very well.
Yeah, it's a bit like when Aragorn tells that young lad that his shitty blade is a good blade. They're all like, really? Oh wow,
That's the vibe I was going for.
we've been using this stuff for like 40 years.
Take it in your hand and just test the weight. Highly balanced, yeah.
Finely balanced mallet.
If it's Dowie, I'd imagine it would be.
Yeah. So after a couple of days, you manage to reach what remains of Holdfast Bridge. You can see that the ghost lights that normally illuminate the bridge, that illuminate most of the path, have vanished. But as soon as the crew arrive, they immediately Heinz starts barking some orders, and they get to work, and the wagons are unloaded, and it's suddenly a site of industry, and the camp gets set up around you. And perhaps you join Heinz as he analyzes what's remained of the bridge. And anyone who wants to do a crafting or survival check can analyze.
Time to shine. Test.
The full one.
Or one, you say? Okay.
I don't think you can fail.
It would be very difficult.
I really want them to fail just for the fun of it.
Unless you roll loads of ones.
No, it's fine. It's 5 successes.
Oh, fine.
Yes, it is. Anyone want to do a survival?
Anyone
I can.
else?
Five one
Put your hand
survival.
out there, Vargi.
I'll do a survival.
I'm okay, thanks.
Well, I get got 4 mind, and then the training with the grey caps. I get a training
I don't know.
for +1.
They get an extra die for every point of training that you have, and you get an extra point that you can allocate to whatever your result you have for every point of focus that you have. Is that what you're asking?
I did the training with the grey caps as my endeavor, so I get a bonus to survival. Oh, no, that's within the walls. Never mind. God damn it!
Yeah, sorry, I should have said we were going outside the city.
Yeah,
I hate
that
to be
part.
that guy, but you did last time, actually.
yeah, I forgot that.
It's
I
fine.
just
You
forgot
got
it was only within the walls.
double 6. It's all good. Grey caps trained you well. So Vargi, with your crafting test, you can see that extreme force broke the stone in multiple places. So you kind of see that the debris has landed upstream, and there's big chunks of stone in the river and on the side of the bank. So the only way it could have gone upstream like that is from something bashing it. And Klaus, your survival check tells you that you realise that a large group was crossing the bridge when it broke. Well.
Oh. Looks like something large, or a lot of somethings came through here. Or something.
Hey, I don't think this one failed due to age. Hope we don't encounter such a thing that can destroy a bridge.
Yeah, Heinz looks uneasily as you mention these things, sort of goes to look back at the camp, and you can see that they're unloading all these big fortifications and building stuff, and hammering's all starting to go on. And over the course of the afternoon, the camp is built up around you, and work starts to commence. Bridge. When of you assist, or are you just there as glorified guards? The odd sort of. The odd.
I'm still chanting up a storm.
He likes building stuff.
Fair play. The odd.
But not like the proper dirty work, not like digging trenches. You know, find something slightly better. He's
Fallen.
helpful.
Yeah.
Go around with like a spirit level, checking everything's like, oh, yeah, aye, that's perfect. Okay, next bit, yeah.
Walking and going, I'm helping.
Oh, that's a couple of degrees out there. Yeah. Dig that trench again.
Oh, if only you'd brought some ether souls with you. Yeah. I mean, great work though, great work. Honestly, with what you're working with, this is marvelous.
You sound like upper management.
I think
Can we
Klaus
get
is
this?
gonna keep an eye out. Stuff.
Yeah.
Security up.
I think
Very good job considering this.
get this done by EOD, please. Yeah, EOD. Get a
Right,
draft.
Flashbacks.
Oh, it was also always COP.
My life.
EOP I've got.
What's CO? Oh,
Close
Close
of
of
play.
play.
close of
Fucking
play.
cricket term, innit?
Close of day and end of play. Why close of play?
Oh, maybe it's end of play. I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't,
know.
other guys said
It's
me
all
COP.
it's all shit. It makes me want
It
to
is.
die. So yeah, Klaus,
Then
if
hold
you're
me in.
sort of manning the fortifications as they erect, you're like getting in some rifle practice on the kind of the wandering undead that are wandering and sort of start to slowly like make their way towards the noise, and you just taking them out pretty easily.
Well, yeah.
Practicing your new arcane bolts.
There's no sort of pattern to where the undead are coming from. It's just sort of occasional wanderers that drift over towards.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm all about. There's quite a big thick mist as well. You can't even see beyond the other side of the river that much. So they're kind of coming out of the mist. As night falls, Captain Heinz once again calls for you to join him at the river. And he's sort of pointing at something among the stone debris. He says, perhaps you can confirm if you see what I'm seeing. It looks as though that debris is moving. And in the sort of the setting light, a large silhouette rises up above the water, with water sloshing down it, and two big hands plant themselves either side of the river.
Are those hands attached to anything?
Nope, it's like Smash Bros. It's just two hands.
I'm just thinking one of those passes in Elden Ring with 12 fingers.
And you see.
Oh.
Good
Discord.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Discord.
Ollie, can I be that character?
It's called
Yeah.
Daryl.
Is it really tiny in anyone else's screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you
Yeah.
look really close, it gets a bit bigger.
Hang on,
can-
let me
Oh,
just.
God, I made everything big now. It's terrible.
You can zoom. You can zoom on the actual thing. Top right, there's a
you
magnifying.
look really close, it gets a bit bigger.
No,
Is
you
he?
can. You can.
Is he
guys,
wrong? Was he wrong?
Oh yeah.
No, if you look
No?
at a small thing
No.
very close, it's big.
I
You
think it's
can-
kind of cute.
Oh, okay.
It's got kind of a cheeky scampering,
It's,
hasn't it?
yeah, definitely getting scamp vibes.
It looks incredible.
It's
I put a volcano under it.
So it turns drowsily, and then when it sees you lot standing on the bank, the etchings on its bark flash scarlet, and it bristles, roars, and then charges at you.
fuck.
Is it going to
Dreadbark?
crash into the?
Whisper
The
sweet
bridge?
nothings to it.
Dreadbark is fucking scandalized by this whole experience. Like,
I
Dreadbark
don't.
needs to flirt with it.
I don't want to be racist, but is that a Sylvaneth?
Yes.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's a tree
Okay.
lord.
it was.
I didn't want to assume that all trees are the same.
Oh, it still would be, right? It's just pissed off.
Nuss.
I mean, to be quite
Bring it in the face.
infected. to me.
Dreadbark, quick check-in, mate. Any worries about us burning this particular tree? Not a cousin of yours, is he?
Dreadbark's completely ignoring anything that's spoken to him because he's attempting to.
Ooh.
He's attempting to kind of signal or kind of get a feel for this creature in the ether song.
Spirit song, yeah.
Sorry, spirit song. Like, what is this creature putting out, and can basically, like, is it just angry that we're in its home, or is there something more sinister? But
So I will say first what happens is Heinz shouts, "Twarms, we're under attack," kind of thing. And these four builders drop what they're doing and they grab their blunderbusses and they run to the bank and they start firing at this tree lord. And Dreadbark, when it flashed scarlet and it caught sight of these non-Sylvaneth people, you sort of got this. I'm not 100% how it's described, the spirit song, but once you like tapped into what this tree lord spirit song, it was like anger up to 11. It was like just super like blinding rage. You probably only felt it really when you were in the midst of battle as a Sylvaneth with surrounded by Sylvaneth forces, and even then, it's not as bloodthirsty as this.
I should have got him, Dreadbark.
Is this creature aligned with chaos in any way? Corrupted by chaos or a chaos
Isn't it
creature?
exceptionally hard for Sylvaneth to become chaotic?
Yeah, no, they're not. He's not chaotic.
I think they can.
So
be
much for my
corrupted.
new abilities. Well, he could be corrupted by chaos. He could be
Active
under chaos.
Enduring Lord.
Their spirit song is so strong that it's like makes them super resistant. But
Yeah.
He could be corrupted by chaos or just in a chaos
I'm
spell.
not sure that they can, honestly.
All right,
Can they?
all right.
I think.
Well,
I think
then
lore-wise,
WTF, man. WTF, man.
I think
What are you doing?
lore-wise, yeah, the spirit song is, as Lawrie said correctly, stops him from being corrupted. It's why
Yeah.
Alariel invented it in the first place.
Dreadbark would run over to where the cogsmiths are and be like, "Stop! Stop! Hold your fire!"
So you can make a 5-1 intimidation test to stop them firing, but because you all helped the team earlier, you get advantage. It's only a 4/1 intimidation.
I still
That's
can't
doable.
succeed
Come on.
Just a quick
because
one.
Yes,
I
you
have
can.
no skill in intimidation, and
Still
I
one.
have 1 soul.
Sure.
Oh,
50-50, really.
Yeah.
Where's Heinz here?
He's not.
Buggered off, did he?
He's there, but he's not a
Hiding in the
combatant.
camp. He's hiding in the
Also-
tent.
someone has to work on that catch up.
Okay.
I forgot how advantage works, so I rolled 2 dice. Is that how
It's not-
advantage works in this?
No, it just went from
Uh,
5 to 4.
No, it's not.
Cool. Well, then I fail.
Yeah. So as the bullets scrape off this Tree Lord's armor. Actually, I should probably do the attacks. And I thought this was a good chance to use the Witcher 3 kind of music, because
Very good.
fighting a big tree
Very
monster.
Velen.
This is a. I'm
Very
conscious.
Valen.
I have mocked your map sometimes. This is a really nice little map.
It's not my map.
Well, I know, but the ones you've brought. Sometimes you've brought ones that are just like earnest paint, like a square paint on it. So the
I love
effort
how
of
it's
having this
still
map
a
is wonderful.
backhanded compliment. Like I love
Yeah.
it.
When
Needs
we,
must.
I love
It's,
being
it's-
negged as a
I really,
GM.
I really wanted to give
My
you credit
favourite.
because normally your maps are so shit that I'm really fucking angry with you. But this is so good. So I wanted to give you a really nice,
This
really
is
nice compliment.
this is
Nice.
passable. This is passable. Well done. Proud of you, kid.
You
Proud of
motherfuckers.
you, kids.
Well, uh-oh.
The tree looks angrily at Sichuan.
That's 5 damage.
Okay, that's
5 damage
that's
from
good.
our first blunderbuss.
Nice.
You
He's
get killed
down
by
with
the
your packet.
NPCs.
Holy shit.
That's 5 damage from another blunderbuss.
Wait,
Keep rolling
5
that
damage.
against
Does it
our
have
enemies, if you will.
does it have 0 armor? That's good to know.
No, it's got 3 armor.
Vargi, I might have to give them the gift of Shimon instead.
Ollie, what is this rolling you're doing right now?
and how can I do it as well?
I should clearly play Cogsmiths as my next PC.
Actually, Ollie, that's a question. Are the Cogsmiths individuals or are they acting as a group?
They're all individual.
Okay.
I'm not.
That's 6 damage done already, so that's good.
Right, top of the initiative. Which is Vargi
Alright.
and this one, Duard in turn.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do a bit of classic and a bit of new. You know, I'm gonna really mix this son of a bitch up. I am going to.
His initiative.
Well, we don't want. Oh, well, that's a good point.
That's fine. Your initiative 6, aren't you? So it's fine.
Num. Well, judging, obviously, Dreadbark not happy with us attacking it. They're attacking it. What is the vibe I'm picking up from the rest of the group? Are they lining up their gun? Are they getting ready to attack, or are they looking to? I don't know. Hold the line.
Most definitely from Klaus, yeah.
And from Vargi, is he?
Vargi's definitely running to a firing step.
I can't imagine
Okay,
the rest
then.
of the group are like preparing a peace treaty. Like,
Well, then I shall use one action to creature Saga of Enmity. So increase everyone's melee accuracy. Let me roll that very quickly. Where's my bloody character sheet? Why? Where are you? Why are you? Sorry, it's coming back up.
You okay,
go.
Mikey?
Yeah. I don't like it when my character disappears because I need to tabs open. Right, entertainment test. Here we go. Target DN is 5-1. Lovely. Boom, boom. Great. So success, great. So everyone is buffed up with melee accuracy 1 step. While merging it into the Saga of Grimnir, recounting a tale of Grimnir's epic battle with the Volcatrix. Let's get one of those in the go-to. Here we go. Oh. Oh no, scissors. Oh no, didn't succeed. I'm not using metal because I'm using that metal to do this. So that sucks. So that doesn't go through. But I'm going to use my final metal to cast one of my new miracles, which is a miracle of Sigmar. It's forward. Where's it gone? I just had it a second ago. Wonderful. Oh, it's the Eye of the Hurricane. This is fun. So, raising my open arms skywards, I conjure the Eye of Sigmar's perpetual storm to shelter the zone. And it means that creatures cannot enter the zone unless they use an action to make a soul determination test.
Cool.
Yeah. Furthermore, inclement weather has no effect on the zone as well, so that's quite nice too. So it can't snow in here for a bit as well, so that's pretty good too. So yeah, a hurricane Sigmar surrounds the zone.
Sick.
So yeah, it's quite like that. But I'm going for a zone defense character.
Nice.
Yeah, everyone's got +1 million accuracy, and the tree will need to make an action, make a soul determination test against my soul determination test to enter the zone.
Okay. Yeah, I do get 7 dice for that.
Ooh.
I knew I should take one that reduced their pool of. Well, is it only when it's his turn, of course? But I guess you can take it now if you want, I suppose.
Oh, and then I'll
7 dice.
I'll save it.
Not on his turn, but you can wait. You can try and help it.
I mean, these are like the leaders of the Sylvaneth, so they should be pretty soulful.
Well, fuck.
Vargi runs up to a firing position and stuns everyone by opening fire with his athematic volley gun.
+1 accuracy.
Thank you. That target. Oh yes, so accuracy. Target's defense is
Good. Actually,
good.
let
I'm
me-
currently at herb thanks to the buff.
Oh, nice.
Still checking.
No, I was just double checking the zone features.
Oh. All right.
Hmm.
It's 3 successes, but I can turn that actually into 5 successes with my focus, making it 7 damage, and ignoring 1 point of armor for the 6 that I rolled. Now that I have the piercing weapon trait.
Nice.
Okay, so you reduced the armor by 1, so I think we did this so it's like effectively we just do +1 damage, don't we?
Actually,
So what was it in total?
7.
7 damage. Then your AP 1 makes it 8.
Hang on. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And then the same again.
How are you guys rolling so well today? Oh, come on.
I didn't roll terribly well. Well, that's quite obvious.
And this time it's an effective 9.
Where were these rolls last week?
Well, this is only because I've got the buffs so that I'm hitting on 2s. That's making the big difference there.
Have we not let Daryl, new character, into the game yet?
No.
So you're now wounded the Tree Lord as he kind of swerves and makes way through the water towards the gunners. As they're like,
Hail, withering athematic shot.
exactly.
It's the Tracer blunderbusses that did it though, really.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. I think at this point, you know, Sichuan ruined it by saying it. But you hear shouts from the rest of the crew. Shouting, Sylvaneth, they're everywhere. And you can see Heinz like trying to help Dreadbark stop his gunners from firing on this like thrashing and flailing Vale-Lord. And lumbering over the top of the pitiful palisade is Chardew.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
And accompanying him is
I always thought Chardew was a female. Sylvaneth, I don't know why.
could still be. And then accompanying him is a Spite-Revenant.
Who's a Watsy?
extra spiteful at this exact moment.
And this is, well, Daryl, you can introduce your character.
Well, full name is Thorn-Marquis Llaradoc Gougethorn, but
Hell yeah.
we can just keep it
Couldn't
at.
you do course like sensible, like Brussels sprout or something?
But we can just keep it as
Spite-Revenant.
Gougethorn, alright, that's a cool name.
Hell yeah.
And as Oakshadow like starts to flail with his razor, sort of branchy hands towards these gunners, Chard Yu like steps in front, kind of like pushes him back into the river, and then like picks up the gunners, and then like goes and like puts them down like away from the
Dude,
river.
like Godzilla and King Kong.
Is Daryl? Wait, is
The
Daryl?
Titans.
Wait, is Daryl's character huge or is? Wait a minute, what's going on?
That's
Daryl the tree.
No, I'm so confused. The tree. That's.
How
that's,
did you watch
that's Charlie.
Endgame and not like your head explode? Wait, who are all these? What? Ant-Man's
didn't
big
actually-
now?
I didn't watch any of them. Endgame was my first Marvel movie, actually. That was the first one.
What?
That'd be stupid. But I feel like that right now. The big tree is the Chard Yu, right?
Yes.
Is she exceptionally big? I was kind of scared of kind of like Dreadbark size.
Tree Lords are massive.
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
no, just-
Tokens
just
are not
look at
to
the tokens.
scale.
I mean, they are to scale. I mean, within...
They should give you an idea that Chardew is big.
Yes.
And so, what is going with Daryl's character? That's the next big question, really.
It's here. Hello.
Yeah, I know that it's fucked up. I don't know what it is. Are you
Yeah.
you a Sylvaneth or what? What are you?
Well, yes. So now that, oops, now that that's been revealed, I can actually paste my shit on the Discord chat, and you can read it later.
Right.
Nice.
I'll read it now because I'm curious.
Yeah, Daryl's the backstory he wrote is pretty cool, pretty creepy.
Yay! Thank you.
Hell yeah.
These are the Sylvaneth who are like it's their job to fuck shit up.
Pretty much.
Okay. We get shit done.
What's your initiative, by the way, Daryl? Actually,
It is 3.
oh, okay. And you may not have a part to play in this fight.
Shut up.
It's okay. As soon as I saw like how much damage it was getting, I'm like, nah. Okay.
Yeah. So let's see, really is great. Oh wow, cool. So this tree lord does a sweeping blow
Whoa.
at.
Rolling, Ollie.
I know, and what's good as well is on a 6, it's got cleave. So on a 6, I do 1 damage to everyone in close quarters.
Oh, wait, what's going on? Is he in the zone? Is he taking his test to get in here, or what's happening? What's happening here?
No, he hasn't taken his. What is his soul determination test? Is it?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mister. Yes, you've got to make a soul.
Enter the zone.
Use an action, so it's one of your actions to make a soul determination test opposed to my soul determination.
Okay. We're going for 4s. I got 4.
It doesn't say what I have to do. You assume it's, if it doesn't specify DN, I assume it's
DM4, yeah, for opposed tests.
for, right. How many did you get?
4.
And I got 4. What does that mean?
Roll again, I think. That's what we've done
Yeah.
before.
All right.
House rules.
Do it again. Come on then.
4 again.
Damn it. I don't know if I roll that one again. I did pretty well to come away with 4.
Yeah, you did.
Ah! Son of a bitch.
Close enough, though.
You
Not
know,
bad though. If I had some focus, that could have been.
So the claws like come through the tornado,
no.
the hurricane, and they see the sort of the shining red runes from not runes, light from it. So it does do that. So it does 8 damage to this guy, putting him on just 1 wound. Actually, he doesn't die. And then for every 6. There's 4 6s. I do a point of damage to running close, That's 4 on you, Dreadbark, and 4 on matey next to you.
Has it? I know it probably hasn't, but I'm seeing some overlaps. I'm gonna have to ask. Has it entered our zone?
Yes.
It has. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
So
it
let's
got through
start.
the.
So, first of all, this is how I attack. So that's what I have. I don't carry weapons. My literal arms are weapons. Well, hands. Oh no, I know, but the reason that I'm going to act first is because of this and this. I'll also be adding this.
Ah,
How
too
many
many
how many
words.
talents do you have?
There's too many words.
I think Daryl has lethal, I think.
Well,
All
okay,
these
basically,
cards.
so I attack using my hands. If anything encroaches into my zone, since I have territorial and lunge, I can immediately attack it. Unbridled Malice means that basically when I attack and I deal damage, it has to roll a determination soul test, and if it fails, it's frightened until the end of the turn. I also have this, which basically means that when I attack,
I see
if
we're in the middle of the Daryl talent train.
I'm just explaining everything that I have.
It's all brand new. It's all brand new.
Basically, when I attack, if I roll a 6 on an attack with a slashing weapon, my hands are slashing and rending. I'll explain that in a minute. If I attack with a slashing weapon, it is knocked prone, and if it tries to move for the remainder of combat, it suffers 1 damage. I mentioned rend, which is that, which basically means that with every 6 that I roll, I remove 1 point of armor from the enemy. It is permanently damaged. This doesn't really apply, but I'm going to put it there for you guys to see. And then you'll see something else happening later, which you won't be happy about, but I'm warning you now. Also, I'm ambidextrous, and I have Forensic Assault.
Also,
So-
I'm also a Capricorn.
I,
Gives me
every-
plus 10
every
damage.
campaign. Every campaign, I get called a power gamer.
I didn't listen. Did you see what happened with my last character? So I'm going to attack.
Milo, you can't say like after killing a tree lord in 2 shots that you're not a power gamer. And you got 3 armor as well.
Don't like getting shot.
So, Ollie, what's its defense, please?
Just good.
Just good. So right now, my normal melee is good, but since I have Relentless Assault, it goes up 1 step, so it's a great. And I believe I have another one somewhere. I don't know. I'll find it. Don't worry.
At least you're still doing the 2-weapon fighting. At least this campaign.
Yeah. At least there's that. Anyway, let's attack.
Oh yeah, the one to pick out is the malicious tormentor thing. Because it basically means if Daryl kills somebody, his turn immediately ends because he's too busy like tormenting them. but he gets +1 attack
Melee
for
for
the
the rest?
melee for the rest of the encounter.
So you drive your sword through your claw hand through their chest, and then watch
Yep.
their eyes as their eyes turn to as
Yep.
their eyes close, that kind of thing.
See,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
really funny that you say that because that's exactly how my backstory ends. So, spoiler.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go.
You could easily just put your hand through someone's chest and pull out their heart with that that tree hand of yours.
So that's-
Goddamn.
1, 2, 3,
Ah!
4, 5, 6 successes. No 6s though, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shield would have natural armor as well. Can't reduce. You can only reduce.
So, but I could have knocked it prone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you can still damage natural armor.
I'm thinking of your rend.
You can still damage natural armor though, can't you?
I believe not. It's like Mikey's runic armor or
Hello.
like skin armor or the Stormcast magical armor.
Is it different from any armor that I have? Because my armor can be damaged, I think I read.
Oh really?
I think so, I believe so. It's fine, we'll look at that later. This is important right now, it's really on its last things.
If you increase one of your 5s to a 6 using focus, that then
Oh, you're right, I did have an extra damage there, didn't you? Sorry, not that. Yeah, sorry, focus. I can do so then. Thank you.
Good question.
No, you're right. So I'll increase one of them to 6, which means it is not prone. If it moves, it gets 1 damage, and maybe it rends. I'll look it up. It's fine. It's not important.
Which is the knocking prone one?
It is sever. You sever your enemy's tendons and muscles, preventing them from escaping. If you roll a 6 on an attack with a slashing weapon, the target is knocked prone. Additionally, anytime they move,
I love that how it's like it's not even like even if it's against giant enemies, like great unclean ones.
Cool.
Whoop. Over you go.
Also, it must make a DN for X soul test, where X is equal to the amount of damage they suffered. So 4.
He's dead, man. He's dead. As Chardew takes like the gunners away and like stomps away to put them down somewhere, and he kind of gives you a nod, and then you just, as soon as the guy comes through the hurricane mists, you just lunge forward and just straight down into the water. And all is quiet again in the camp. And everyone in the camp is just like bewildered, like looking at Chardew and looking at Gougethorn, who is emerging from the river, leaving behind this crumpled pile of bark. And maybe one of the cockier engineers makes a joke about firewood, which dies in their throat when they see Chardew slowly walking towards the remains.
God damn. What the fuck is Chardew doing here?
You can ask him.
Oh, Dreadbark. Your tree friend.
You're gonna ask him yourself? Come on, pal.
He scares me.
Weird,
last time I spoke to him.
Person, like, go on, you.
Last time I spoke to him, I made a
disposition. You can.
I was a bit aggressive to him, so he might not like me.
You see him sort of pull the body of the Tree Lord onto the bank, and kneels down next to him, and his hand is tracing the cavity where its Lamentiri is, and it's kind of glowing red still. And
What's
you hear, so it's the soul of the Sylvaneth. So they take them and they put them in the soul pods, and then they grow into new Sylvaneth. So they have like a recycled spirit, basically.
Okay.
And you hear him sort of rumbling, saying, "What happened to you, Sproutly?" And Dreadbark and Gougethorn, you can feel his spirit song resonating with resignation and sorrow, as if he's lost someone who he was very close with once.
But will stand at a respectful distance. Contribute to the spirit song. Regret. Fallen Sylvaneth.
Yeah.
There's no, contribution on that part from Gougethorn, but he does survey the area and especially like lays his eyes upon this group of people that he's already been warned, I guess, for him in his case, that he has to cooperate with. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So Chardew sort of stands up, heads over to you guys. The rest of the building team sort of eyeing him warily and still like clutching their axes and blunderbusses, but not sure what to do, and looking for Heinz for guidance. And he's kind of telling them to lower their weapons, as Heinz knows Chardew as well, since he helped you get out of the Goldmane. And he says to you, in particular, Dreadbark and Gougethorn. He says, I trust you felt the spirit song of young Oakshadow here. It has been plaguing my thoughts. I feel that many Sylvaneth have tapped into this increasingly violent and vengeful song. And I do not know where it comes from.
So there is a reason why these Sylvaneth are acting differently from each other. Seems to be like factions or something, or
Yeah, I'm trying
some
to.
corruption.
I don't think it's a faction thing. I think there actually might be some sort of corruption happening, which is surprising.
So Klaus, goes up to charge you, towering before him, and he goes, so how did you find us here exactly? Where did you come from? Good, bit of a coincidence.
He says, I could hear the rumblings of industry, and he gestures all around him. That I was keeping a close watch, just in case. Once I heard the vengeful spirit song so powerfully coming from Oakshadow, I knew that he was attacking the people of Greywater once again.
Oh.
I came
what
to.
What did you say? Sorry, go on.
And he gestures to Gougethorn. And he says, may I introduce you to a companion of mine from... What's the name of your glade again? Is it
Dreadwood, I think.
Dreadwood. And he says, from my old glade, the Dreadwood. Dreadwood. Like Dreadbark, but not. Because... Dreadbark, you're not from the Dreadwood, are you?
It's an IP already.
No, he's just big fan. He says, I have brought him to do what I cannot. Join with you and potentially fight the good fights that cannot be fought. I was hoping that you may aid me in finding out the source of this discordant spirit song which is driving my fellow Sylvaneth acts of madness and violence, which can only end badly for the city of Greywater Fastness as well.
If they're attacking us like this courageously, then we should really strive out and quell them, really. Finish them all, leave none alive.
Ooh, you can literally feel Gougethorn's gaze as soon as you say that.
Yeah, Chardew looks very unimpressed at Klaus.
And if you do take a good look...
If you don't finish them off, they're just going to keep coming back, aren't they? That's how this works.
Right,
Like
just
cockroaches.
Just laying the land. If you take a good look at Gougethorn, you can see that his face looks almost completely blank with very pale eyes, and he moves absolutely unnaturally, like almost like its body isn't real, like it's like a robotic marionette kind of thing.
Creepy.
Yeah, they are super.
Vargi turns to Klaus and just says, Klaus, see what he did to that fucking tree lord with his fucking vine arms? Sure you know what you're doing, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I never meant to insult anyone. That was did there, but yeah, I'll drop him out for a bit, sure.
Dreadbark will say to Gougethorn, don't take too much notice. Young Klaus he speaks several lifetimes before. As you can see, as a group, we are no enemies. Well met. Fight. What are they called?
Spite-Revenant.
The Spite-Revenant.
Well met. Spite-Revenant. My name is Ardanadoc Dreadbark of somewhere that isn't the Dreadwood. Emissary of the Ever Queen herself. We are very grateful for your aid. Fellow friend of Mr. Yu here.
You should probably pick a glade because you get a bonus, you know.
What, like a lodge?
Yeah.
Shit. Right.
You get your own crib. I've got a question for Mr. Charge You.
Content.
We hear from Gougethorn.
Yeah, I was going to
Oh, yeah,
answer Alex.
Just said hello.
Yeah. Pleased to meet you, Hunter. It is a great pleasure to see that another of our kind will be aiding our quest. Some of us here maybe aren't as intuitive as the rest, but effectiveness in combat will help make them prove themselves worthy. And you see him look at Klaus. Then he
Klaus
turns back.
blushes.
It turns back to Dreadbark, and sort of like weirdly presents like an outreached hand, but like also pointing down, and then takes it back. Like that's it. That's his weird greeting, and that's it. Like you see, once again, you see a blank face.
You wouldn't want to shake his hand, would you?
I don't think you want to. No.
It would be. Yes. Don't worry about that. He has a heart of gold.
Nice.
Unless he wants to turn you into gold.
Vargi Norgrimsson, pleased to make your acquaintance, and if I might add, I'd never have liked to be an acquaintance of your thought.
And again, you see him like just twist his head to look towards you without moving his body. And you hear like this. You see like when he speaks, his mouth doesn't move, even though you can hear the whispers and the words coming out. And once again, he just utters like, "Pleased to make your acquaintance."
Vargi has no idea how to react to that, so he just goes and turns away and trots off in a different direction, sweating under his mask.
Yeah, Klaus, you had a question for Chared.
Yeah, so Mr. Yu, what was the mention the name of that tree in the water over there that you felled?
Yes, his name was Oakshadow.
Oakshadow, and did Oakshadow have any friends? Did any backup?
Oakshadow is the protector of Pale Oak, who you have met. He gained his name, of course, for trailing Pale Oak like a shadow. But I have no understanding of why he would be dwelling here, attacking members of Greywater Fastness and their trade. But I would like to ask you to assist me and finding the glade from whence he came, and potentially stopping them from causing any further violence.
Just for headcanon, Pale Oak was the Chad tree lord.
Yes.
Who hates us.
Yeah.
So this one we killed, or didn't kill, or the spirit still lives. He betrayed Pale Oak the Chad.
He didn't betray him.
No.
I mean, that wasn't explicit. He doesn't know why he's here, but he should be
Okay.
protecting Pale Oak.
So
Dark's there, Luke.
this isn't really, I guess, spoiling anything, because I'll discuss it anyway, just so you know. But the reason that Gougethorn was made to like join the Soulbound group is for him to end the conflict between the Sylvaneth and Greywater. Whatever it, doing whatever it takes,
Whatever it takes to kill.
whatever it takes to end the conflict. Whatever that means to you remains to be seen.
Yeah, L'Oreal's just used him as a bit of a fire and forget unit, like missile, plausible deniability. Go to the Soulbound, help him out, fuck up the right people, hopefully.
Wait, so that kind of makes Dreadbark a bit of a patsy.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's heard about
Do
you.
more or less the same thing, but like
She's heard about you making friends and giving fancy speeches. She want that. She wants everyone to like get ripped apart.
it does sound like her.
I mean,
Hell of a woman.
you could very well be the voice of reason to Gougethorn's lack of compassion.
Yeah, no, I think the canon that Daryl and I came up with is Chard, you knew Gougethorn from like the old Dreadwood days, and was like, and maybe Gougethorn is a bit of a loner, a bit of a lone hunter, and was like, if I can get you soulbound, make you integrated into this other group of soulbound, that will be like my way of aiding this like group of people who want to stop this war from happening. And he's got his vow of pacifism, but he can respect that Gougethorn has many certain skills.
Oh yeah. Oh, also there's something that you guys should know. I don't know why I forgot to show you this. Ollie laughed when I showed it. I don't think anyone of you is going to laugh though.
Never would.
oh, great.
Oh yeah, yes. I need to increase Doom.
Yeah, sorry about
Jolly
that,
good.
guys.
Doom.
Goomba.
We can never have less than 2 Doom.
Duba.
I don't think we're at risk of having less than 2.
Oh, I've already increased it by
Right.
2 actually.
I'd rather have 2 Doombar than 2 Doom.
True.
What?
Kind of beer.
Oh,
Cool. So, do you wish to help Jardu with this task?
Of course.
that's not a question in my case.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes for a strong ally, so of course.
Vargi asks Jardu if he'll be staying to protect the camp.
He says, "What you mean staying for how
Well,
long?"
there's still a bridge to build, isn't there?
You
And
could
we're the
just
guardians of the bridge. Why don't we all just bugger off into the forest and see what's what? Heinz is going to be like, this is a problem.
Yeah. Maybe Vargi could just stay then.
Help
Vargi's
build.
a man of his word. They've agreed to protect this encampment. He's a little conflicted.
Chardu says,
I think
"While I believe that I will of course assist in raising the fortifications if you wish to help your fellows survive out here, but I believe the real threat. I believe that what we should be doing is solving the real threat, and we can potentially aid the return of the protective sprites as well, which will protect your fellows more than I can."
Works for me, as long as Heinz is okay with it.
He I think he sort of nods and says, I always thought that this was a bit beneath you anyway. I feel if you are going to go and potentially stop the Sylvaneth from attacking the city, then by all means, we can hold off the odd undead for now.
Tell you what,
Excellent.
we do some crafting and survival or something to try and improve the defenses of the camp, give them a better chance.
You could do that if you want to, yes.
Initiative. Nice.
So yeah, we can. So yeah, Chardew says like he's true to his word. He stays with you until the morning. And does assist in like lifting up some heavy things and helping secure stuff, and uses his big size to do all that stuff. You can see that some of the people, especially the ones who went to shoot Oakshadow, and the ones who like, especially this guy who got like proper chewed up, proper torn up, eyeing him very warily, like keep their weapons on them at all times and try to keep as far away from them as possible. Ditto with Gougethorn and Dreadbark. You can sort of see them muttering as well to themselves, giving dirty looks to the Sylvaneth. But there's an equal amount of them who, including Heinz, who find it quite fascinating to talk to a tree lord, and do you do hear them like having conversation, especially about what it used to be like when the Ghoulmere was not a Ghoulmere, and when it used to be all lush ground and everything. And you know, Heinz especially finds that very, very interesting. And you could hear Heinz asking questions about what Chardew thinks of Greywater fastness, and does he think there's ever going to be peace between Sylvaneth and the city? What that would rely on. And Chardew is very happy to talk about all this stuff.
Spends a lot of time on his own, I reckon, so he's happy to have some conversation, isn't he?
So, anyone else have any questions for Chardew, or do you?
Well, is the irony not lost on anyone that Tree Lord's helping us industrialize a bridge? Like,
well, it was.
Bridge.
I don't think bridges are that.
Like, I don't call
unethical.
them very industrial.
well,
Yeah.
it's what this bridge is going to carry across it, right?
Well, what happens then is,
Well,
the future's problem.
The pact always was the Sylvaneth would help maintain the one road. That's why the sprites were there to stop the undead from attacking people on it.
Yeah.
It's a partnership.
Were the
yeah.
sprites the blue lights that you mentioned earlier?
Yes.
Cool. I think Chardew's a cool guy. He's grown on me.
Good fun.
Oh.
Can I take time to look for some herbs for my alchemy?
There's not much growing around here.
It's Endeavour time again.
No, like special death plant.
Yeah.
Practice my poetry.
Yeah.
Actually, your endeavour, Dreadbark, for making your little garden, I'm just gonna make my endeavour to harvest it for my alchemy.
Oh.
No, I already harvested it.
Oh, okay.
I was
I'll
just
trade.
growing a particular plant.
Oh, okay. We can do some trade.
What you got?
It's turning into World of
What you got to
Warcraft.
trade?
Go do my
Selling-
mats.
Got aqua.
RuneScape, selling full dragon plate. Just meat lum.
Mike, are you writing notes, or are you just writing an email?
Combination of notes. Yeah, I'm not really as tuned into all the Sylvaneth stuff, so I'm just trying to keep notes best I can.
Okay. That background, that tappy tap tap background noise always
Yeah,
the
so weird.
industriousness.
I don't understand how loud it is. I've never understood why it comes out so loud.
It does sound quite loud.
It's really bizarre. Everyone's always I don't know if it's the keyboard or the phones, but
Do you try and get like a noise gate that you can just?
I'm gonna
Just
type it. I'm gonna type as gently as I can. Tell me so you can hear.
I think you should get into like paper and pen.
Can you hear me?
No, but how long can you keep this up for?
Yeah, exactly. It's quite painful, like lightly pressing.
Maybe just mute yourself. I don't know. Maybe push to
There you
talk.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool. So, yeah, and then I think as he did before, Charlie kind of sits around the campfire with a few others, and you and Heinz. Perhaps tells you more about Oakshadow, who they were. He lets you know that he's going to try and carry Oakshadow with him because he wants to retrieve his Amenteria, of course, but it's beyond his skills to do that. Dreadbark and Gougethorn, you know that you need a branch which do such a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. Actually, branch witches look cool. Like, I actually want to try one.
Yeah.
It's just die.
He's tried that already.
It's worked in the past.
I have literally nothing to say, or nothing that I want to say at
Wow.
least.
Nothing that's acceptable to say in civilized
In
society.
the game, Christ. Up.
To be fair, Dreadbark did nearly die last session, but I didn't feel like killing you when you weren't there was very fair.
I mean, it would have been quite funny, but yeah,
Is
maybe not.
branch witch one word or two words?
One word
One word.
with a Y as well,
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
and no T.
And no T. What?
I'll just find it for you, make it easier for you.
like a
No.
brunch witch.
I'm enjoying trying to guess how to spell this fucking thing.
Hashtag brunch witch.
How is that not how you
Witch.
spell?
Play
Is that a bottomless
Warhammer
brunch witch?
Yeah, you ever see like when you do a selfie at bottomless brunch, you hashtag brunch witch,
Oh yeah.
I just-
God.
posing with your Bellini, right?
When we finally get Kari mod Brunch Witches.
Every day.
I sent it to you on the game chat,
Thanks.
Mikey.
I can just find it. Oh, I see. Change the iframe.
Cool. So the night passes, and even though Captain Heinz is sad to see you go, he has to admit that the fortifications are a long way further than they ahead of schedule. And even maybe Vargi, even you reckon the undead would have a hard time getting over the walls. So that's good.
Yeah. Getting more secure.
Alright, why are you sending me so much stuff?
No, I didn't think you had a notification. Taking notes.
That stuff that you bought?
Stuff that I want to get next time. I'm working towards
Okay,
more
cool.
overarching idea of my car.
Nice. It's good to have those things, like you can actually work towards something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and if you I know you've picked the Word of Chaos alignment. I can grab you the actual descriptions as well.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
please. That'd be
never,
great.
not what I actually talked about that.
I was thinking about how to do it. I had a kind of idea, but some of them were quite hard to kind of think about how you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
lectury.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really easy to think about how you'd use that, surely.
Yeah, true. I mean, the other ones are harder.
I can send you the I probably just screenshot all of the descriptions. Probably still very helpful.
Should these be public or private, Ollie?
Your alignments.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point that they are. Everyone knows them, so everyone can help you like play your character. So, I mean, yours are very clear.
Yeah, I think mine's very obvious given the character itself.
Yeah.
It's duty and fatalism. So, order side, you've taken an oath, whether personal or formal, that guides your actions in all things. No amount of trickery, intimidation, or bribery will sway you from your promises. Your dedication to one single ideal or task will follow you to your grave, no matter how soon or distant that may be. Second part, the chaos part. Your dedication to a single ideal has twisted your idea of free will. Fate cannot be influenced by the actions of man. This stark worldview can lead to inaction, a dark gallows humor, the harsh lack of empathy for the suffering of others. That's it.
Yeah, as someone who as you said, someone who torments people for a buff.
I don't think it can be more obvious than it is.
Yeah. I'll just find yours actually, Lawrie. It's cunning cruelty.
Cruelty.
Yeah, I thought on his backstory that makes sense.
Wait, did you ever send your backstory? Never read it.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's right at
no.
the top of the chat.
Oh, Lawrie, they need to be on the same row.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it can be.
They're
Why?
mirrors of the same thing.
Yeah. It's like the opposites of each other.
Oh, can't you mix them?
No, it's the whole point. It's like if you are
You
this.
could be cunning and cruel, right?
Yeah, but they don't thematically match. You could be, but your cunningness
matter.
doesn't make you cruel, I guess. I mean, there's cunning and deceit, because cunning is.
I thought it was more like how you act, or like, guiding your actions in scenarios, right? If you're like
yeah,
really
no.
stressed, then my cruelty will come out. But if I'm like acting normally and like not stressed, then I'm gonna be more cunning, right?
So what you
Is
said,
that how?
like the same way you pick deceit, because like you said, like it'll basically like dictate how you behave in certain scenarios. Obviously, not like word for word, but gives you an
Yeah.
idea. So yeah, so what
Okay.
you just said that could easily apply with cunning and deceit,
So then,
especially
Nice.
since you're like a gold mage. Like you love trying to deceive people with gold.
yeah, exactly. I'd literally turn metal to gold and sell it, or turn gold coins to gold and.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say that you're cruel.
But that could come out when put under pressure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now
Or is
compare how cruel you can be with what you saw from Gougethorn, and pick one that actually is cruel.
oh yeah, true.
Yeah. But you can.
Could turn you gold very slowly from the inside out. That'd probably be painful.
You hope you can run then. Like
Yeah.
if you do that, sprint.
Yeah, but this is how it makes sense, because the opposite of cruelty is candor, which means like you're basically like you say it how it is. You say it how it is. So therefore, you can be a bit of a dick.
I hate that.
Yeah, exactly.
Those
Whereas,
guys are just assholes, though.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But it can be a good thing because it's like people you know where you stand, all that kind of thing. Whereas the opposite of cunning is that your cunning mind is also good for lying and tricking, which means people trust you less.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
So those two things could come out depending on the situation.
I see. Nice.
Yeah. No, good to know that you had a look as well.
Should be up to date now.
Nice. So you're awoken by the sound of the camp getting back to work. As soon as light appears, Chardew waits for the party beyond the camp, holding the body of Oakshadow in his hands, in his arms, and is ready to depart as soon as you are ready.
Gougethorn's ready whenever the rest are.
Same.
The Rumble.
Has Sichuan made his porridge on his little volcano?
Just assume,
Volcano cooking pot.
porridge is always happening. Just assume that's
Quite a good camping stove, I'd imagine, actually.
Gold porridge.
Well, again, it's zone sized, so unless you can. Well, actually, wait a minute. This little zone over here. Yeah, all right. I can make a little campfire in this little zone over here. perfect little
On the
campfire
bridge. Oh
size.
yes, a volcano on the bridge.
That's a perfect campfire size zone. This zone
Yeah.
too big. This one
That'll definitely help with the repairs.
just
Go
right.
for it.
Yeah. Did you pick new runes, by the way, Sichuan? Or are you using the same ones?
No, the runes are fine. I thought of saying I could change my sagas, but there's only 3. So no, the runes are the same. They're
Cool.
re-emblazoned with Endeavour Frost.
Cool. So, stepped off the road is a local euphemism for dead. And the watching repair crew hold their breath as you follow Chardew off the path. A chill passes over you as you cross over the road's edge, like the Goulmane itself has peeled away your last protection. But if the undead notice you, they're waiting until you've left the range of the guns to strike. Soon the hubbub of construction fades to a distant echo. Chardew guides you through the morass, along paths where the stagnant water only reaches your hips instead of your chest. And as the one road disappears from view, you see something none of the crew warned you about. Life. Feeble sprouts and scruffy moss grow here, where the city does not reach.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting.
Why all the secrecy?
Yeah, it's like the Truman Show. You just go through it. It's all fine.
Wait a minute, it's all fine. Don't go past there. It's going to be all rubbish.
It's all undead and nasties.
Interesting.
I really need to watch the Truman Show. I've never seen it.
It's very good.
Yes.
Hold up.
So yes, Chardew almost instinctively manages to pick paths which avoid the worst dangers as you circumnavigate bogs and ruins and all sorts of things, and you probably come across, as you remember from your time going through the Goulmane, you came across all sorts of weird and strange and deadly things, but maybe you hear noises off to the side of you and you notice that your Chardew is instinctively dodging around anything that could cause trouble. But he's still happy to chat to you. You know, as Lawrie said, silence has been his companion for centuries. Does anybody chat along with Chardew?
I'll leave that to the Sylvaneth.
I don't think it makes sense for Gougethorn to engage in.
So exactly how
Engage
old
in
are
rugby.
you? Tree man? Tree fella?
Increasingly like moss.
Big you?
I've just got Klaus has got that.
That
Klaus-
does
How
sound like
old are
this.
you?
Look, Klaus has seen a lot of shit. He's got that that human naivety, that curiousness.
No, Roy. Yeah, maybe he good-naturedly answers all of Klaus's inquisitive questions that have no thorough thread. You also notice as he walks, and if no one's talking to him, he hums little songs.
Or does the little bird in his head like twitter and sing along? Please say he does.
Maybe. Maybe to you it sounds like, maybe you could just be like, oh look, it's singing with him. It's singing, look. Listen, it's singing as well.
Do it. You can see its little beak. Go on.
Does Dreadbark have any like birds living in his, or squirrels living in his?
Yeah, look, he's got a nest for a
Yeah, he's got-
face.
No, that's Chardew or Dreadbark.
Oh, Dreadbark.
Yeah,
Who is it?
he's got.
Is that a little
he's got lots
bird?
of bugs. You've
Bugs?
got loads of bugs.
Okay.
He has got Doomseed that's always
Fun.
scrabbling about in his outer branches, offering people arrows that they don't really need or want and don't really want to touch.
You don't have a quiverling anymore.
Oh shit, that's true. I don't.
You've
I
dumped
sent him
his.
back to the glades.
You did.
In Bromley. That's a reference.
I think
we need to get.
Dreadbark would ask Chardew, what
It's your name.
Do you know, my lord, of this corrupting spirit song? Where else have you encountered it? And taking over poor Oakshadow.
He says, "This is Oakshadow was by far the strongest I have felt of it. But you will probably sense as well and sense it all across the Ghoulmere. I fear that the Dreadwood clan may have also been corrupted by this. It would explain Pale Oak's bloodlust in his actions previously."
Gougethorn, also from the Dread.
Mhm.
Yep.
I see. Dreadbark, like, sort of subtly looks back at Gougethorn for just a fraction. And then I guess walks along in silence for a little longer. I can't think of anything terribly meaningful to ask
Can I
Chardu
interject?
that we haven't already talked to him about. Yes.
So if they were corrupted, is there any way of uncorrupting them or cleansing them?
He says, "I believe the best way to quell this spirit song is to quell any chance of violence. See, much like with other races, with the Sylvaneth, the violence and anger begets more of the same. The spirit song spreads, can reach a fever pitch in which only bloodlust can be the solution. So our two options may be to convince them to stand down or to let them exact their violent feelings on Greywater Fastness, which I cannot consent to."
Well, the latter definitely can't happen. That's for sure.
Agreed. Do you know any songs, young Klaus? I haven't learnt a new song for, it must be 1,000 years.
I've got one actually that I know from the top of my head actually, from Kroppenleben. If you want to hear it.
Yes, please. Is it a shanty?
Quick, I have to make a lineup.
Little bit on your nerves.
Maybe you learnt a dirty
Oh, I
song
got
from
one,
the
I got
Grey
one.
Caps.
I once knew a girl in Kroppenleben. God, she was an awful heathen. And then it goes on describing some other parts of the town. And I'll teach Chad you this.
Nice. I think he
We have some of the dwarves drumming along as we carrying the beat. Come on, Sichuan, get under this. You're the entertainer.
Yes, with words, not in this musical style. I don't really understand these instruments and this sing-songiness. I can spoken word over it if you want.
Dowie war drums. Yeah, do that. Beat your chest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Do like a beat poem.
Yes.
Go on, give us some spoken word poetry.
And Grimnir descended from the heavens with his army 10s and 7s. Not mind the heavens, anything.
I mean, my surname.
It's the same. That's just cheating. That's half right. Swing his axe and fell his foes. Look out! There comes some snow. Ta-da!
I better
There you
cast my hurricane. Stop the snow.
Exactly. Fuck. Go away,
The first
snow.
spell you learn in
That's it.
Grimnir School.
Badass hurricane.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one to actually be successful at some point. It also stops any incoming. You can't fire into it. Just there's no test, no nothing. Just you can't.
Oh,
No
Ah,
range
that's
attack
cool.
can come into it, which I thought would have been very useful in the previous encounter.
Pretty badass.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
Highly
good.
effective.
Always.
I think Erexion could have done this whole time.
how often
Yeah.
can you use that?
It's a miracle, so you can keep
Was
it going.
that from the main? Was that from the main book or from the champions?
Champions, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It was
Maybe.
Sigmar, Miracle Small.
But yeah, I mean, it would have been very appropriate for Erixia.
I quite like the idea of Sichuan having kind of elemental abilities somehow.
That's cool. Air and fire.
Yeah, exactly. Put the tornado or a volcano.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Flame Nado.
Flame Nado, baby.
Isn't that from the Hercules Disney film?
Some-
Doesn't he like use the hurricane
See, Milo.
Oh, dude.
Titan to suck up the volcano Titan?
It sounds very familiar.
Oh,
Yes, I've seen that.
If you play a Tidecaller, can you summon a Sharknado?
Very good,
Oh
mate.
god.
You
I
can
think
ride
yeah.
a shark if you're a
Yeah.
an Achillean something or other knight.
Nice.
So Chardew actually has a stat for this chapter called Despair. And when Oakshadow died, his despair went up by 1. But as he starts to hum Klaus's dirty song, his despair actually reduces back down to 0.
Hell yeah. Dude.
Gonna take
Guy likes a dirty song. Don't we all? Time to time.
Better after a few ales. Charge you. Don't get charge you pissed with me.
He's a lot of ale.
Yeah.
We're talking dozens. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe tree lords are kind of lightweight.
Isn't that just what the dwarves carry on them for their rations?
That's true. You can
Probably.
pour some out from your like ethermatic backpack egg.
Always got something handy.
Yeah, Vargi might be 80% ale. We just don't know.
You never seen him out of his suit. It might be all liquid in there.
That's what runs the athematic.
Ale-thematic.
You do encounter
Hmm?
one thing that you can see. You start to hear the sound of splashing and noise of people in water. You come across this deep and foul-smelling bog. So please roll me a 4-2 might test as you wade through
no.
it.
Might
Oh,
just,
no.
Here we go.
Can I roll Arcana?
Nope.
Seems a bit unfair.
Oh, got it good.
Sorry, say the DN again.
4.
Oof. I mean,
No successes whatsoever.
Oh my god.
Ooh. My 1 extra point in body saved me.
Or 2.
It was a 4-2, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mighty.
So Sichuan and Klaus, you slip in the oily water and it soaks your clothes, and the sort of the oil chemical in the bog from the sort of the grey water runoff feels like it's kind of like itching at your skin, and you reduce your armor by 1 if you have any.
That is
got
that.
none.
Yeah. You got
Yes.
no armor.
I've got no armor now.
He's a
I
wizard.
already
got any
washed my
clothes
robes.
anymore.
I already washed my robes yesterday. God damn it!
Oof.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sichuan's pretty nude, really. I mean, he's just got his gold chain and a fucking loincloth on, so he's fine. Doesn't affect
Just
gold.
the tea.
That's it, pretty much.
Halfway through this bog, you hear the sound of voices and splashing get closer, and as sort of the mist parts, you can see what looks like a steam tank wreckage that's almost completely sunk into the bog, and around it you can see several people flailing and struggling in the bog. And
I cast Detect Urgold.
Oh.
Fuck the people.
I think you might detect some Urgold in that steam tank.
Oh, there we go.
But the people who you see,
No, fuck the people.
Yeah, but I need to just tell you what you see. You may be tunnel visioning. Everyone else isn't. You can see that these people are some of the escaped Gulmere pioneers from Brynner's farm.
Oh.
They'll be
See, now that's interesting.
bad people?
These are the ones who were trying to kill you last session.
Bad
You
people.
know.
Oh, it was around. Oh, well, yeah.
The ones who killed one of your party members.
Oh, yeah. So
Who?
that was
Who died? I don't
that
remember
was
anyone dying.
that was the big chompy thing. To be fair, not really the.
And who brought it out?
I mean, they didn't seem to get on very well either. To be fair, but no, these aren't. No.
Yeah, and you can tell that they were trying to also salvage the steam tank, but basically like getting stuck in like mud, like sucking mud, and are slowly kind of getting sucked down. Shardu, for his part, simply watches passively as they slowly get sucked down.
Can I like comically like step on each of their heads like a stepping stone to get to the gold?
Yeah,
What is that? What is that in? That's like that's in some kind of thermal card.
The Mummy 2
might be Mulan.
happens.
Yeah, it could be Mulan.
Mulan.
Could be Mulan.
Training
Mulan.
montage, I think.
Happens in the Mummy 2 with the zombie monkeys when they jump
Also
on their
good.
heads when they're in the quicksand.
Cliche. Oh,
I did.
one.
I'm gonna say that's. I mean, if you want to say that you want to reach the tank and you use them as leverage, then you can do that if you want.
In fact, I was going to say, like, Gougethorn doesn't really interact. Like, Chardieu is watching, and
Yeah, he's
Gougethorn
not
is
vicious.
right
He's
next
not
to
going to
him
like. He's not going to
watching.
like execute them while they're stuck. But he's also not going to help me. So using them as kind of passage to get to the wreckage is.
I mean,
It's kind of like executing them, though.
they're dying anyway,
Yeah.
and you're going to push them down and make them. For reference, Dreadbark was about to take pity on them by shooting them, rather than let them drown in.
Do you mind waiting until they've been used as stepping stones first?
But this is much funnier.
Dead,
Let's say Sichuan
but
took
dead stepping stones probably better than grabbing at
Yeah.
stepping stones.
True.
I don't know how viscous the.
But yeah, if they're not trying to get out, then maybe they'll just. If they're dead, maybe they'll just sink. Who knows?
It's a long
Yeah.
time for like body to lose oxygen from inside of it, so they won't sink. At least not immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably a simplistic view of the. Fine. Cool. Well, then Dreadbark does shoot the men.
And I use them as stepping stones.
Okay. So, as the party kind of watch from the other side of the bog, they watch Sichuan dig into the steam tank with his axe, like burn his way through it like a Jedi with a lightsaber.
But yeah, I definitely use my new melting hand technique.
Oh yeah,
Melt,
good
melt,
point.
melt the non-metal away from the
Nice.
gold.
Yeah, you can just hear him echoing inside. Oh, there's loads of it. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Very exciting.
I think Chardieu sort of says openly to the party, as if to no one in particular. Almost like a mumble to himself, and he says, "At which point do allies become enemies? Can enemies become allies?" Are enemies if they do so unwillingly? Did these poor fools know that they were being corrupted by evil?
Why do we have to get stuck with the philosophical tree lord? Damn it.
Oh, tree's a bit philosophical.
Preferred the Angron one.
He's smoking his
Yeah.
pipe, just muttering to himself.
Anyone else indulge in the philosophy or?
Well, yeah, I mean, Gougethorn would say, in very few words, as long as someone is in our way, willingly or unwillingly, then enemies they will be.
Chardew just kind of nods if he's absorbing this point of view.
Highly amoral.
It's less about allies and enemies, more about obstacles in the way of our destination, right? If there's not an obstacle, then there's no issue. We just move on. If there is, then we remove it. Either way.
Yep, that's very accurate. In fact, that's why Gougethorn didn't lift a finger to either help or kill them, because they're neither helpful or a deterrent to our goal. So let them die. It's their fate.
Dreadbark frowns at this, but doesn't have a sit counter argument to make at this point. But does look at kind of quizzically at Chardew and sort of wonder what made him bring it up and whether these arguments are likely to have any impact on him. And evidently hoping that they do not.
Oh.
Because, he's like a big Chardew fanboy and want to believe that Chardew can get like fucking moral relativism by a psychopath and a like naive moron with an obsession with gold.
Yeah, I think
Psychopath.
You're the moron, not the psychopath.
No, I know. I know.
I don't have an obsession with gold. Oh, gold and gold. Okay, I was getting confused.
I think Chardew is gonna do a Ralph Fiennes in the menu to you, Dreadbark. He's gonna be like, make you so ashamed and embarrassed.
Oh, I thought you mean treat me like the woman. Be like, you want to be on the side of the givers or the takers?
Oh, that too, yeah.
We're all gonna die though.
You probably would say that, to be fair.
Spoilers for the menu, apparently.
I've got a question for old Chardew. Do you have any wisdom about any plants or local flora that may be used, may have medicinal properties or anything like that? You know this area so well.
I think as you move on from the bog, and we'll end it here, but we'll sort of end it with Chardew walking on and just going back to just talking and listing loads and loads of different plants that he knew before that have long been extinct, and ones that he's seen in distant lands and stuff. Almost as if he hadn't even seen a tiny fiery dwarf dunk people into sucking mud to get some gold. And yeah, we'll end it there for today.
Lovely.
Big questions answered today.
And a few questions asked.